Trash Over, the show that discusses all of the masterpieces and trashterpieces of genre cinema. I'm Gary.
And I'm Chris.
And it's finally Pride Month. It's Pride Month 2022.
Yeah, finally there.
Yeah, I'm feeling extra gay this month.
No, not really. Every month's a gay month on this podcast.
That was the wrong answer, but then turned to the right
sorry.
answer. No. Yeah, that's what I was going for. And as always, with Pride Month, we will be joined by some wonderful guests from the horror community within the LGBTQIA plus community. And this week, we have a fellow 90s gay kid, another horror fan from up north, and a one-man podcast who always releases thoroughly entertaining and informative episodes. It's Lee from Slashic Horror.
Oh, what a lovely introduction. Thanks, Gary.
There's a few things that I'm proud of in my life, and it's writing introductions for guests is one of them. So, you're our first guest for Pride Month. Welcome.
Thank you. I'm very honoured.
So, what is it that got you into horror, and what made you want to start a podcast? I mean, it's the generic question that we all ask, all as gay podcasters, and now it's your turn to answer.
I mean, my journey with horror started when I was a kid. Like, it literally started from the video shop. You know, I mean, my dad, he actually used to, it sounds really sketchy, he used to run like a mobile video shop from the back of a van. I know, right?
Nice.
He basically would bring all these VHS tapes home, and they would just be surrounded by it in the house. They'd be everywhere. So when they went to work, my parents, my brothers and sisters would, just play VHS tapes. And I think the very first horror film, I could be wrong, I think the very first horror film I watched was Nightmare on Elm Street. I think that just kickstarted it all from there. And then obviously going to the video shop every Friday and Saturday was just joy to me. But I would just stare at all this amazing box art of all these horror videos, and I was always, intrigued by it. And then as it went on, my dad would just rent them. And I just became so obsessed with the genre. And that's kind of where the idea for the podcast came from, really, is that I wanted to, it's kind of going back to how I remember all these films and like the first reactions I had to them and why I love them so much. And there's always some, even if it's a little story, there's always a little story to certain films, and that's kind of why I wanted to do it.
Yeah, I mean, it's pretty much the same with us, isn't it?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
Is there a little story for today's podcast film?
I mean, yeah, sort of. I very much remember the box art in Blockbuster, because pretty much every mockbuster, slockbuster, whatever you want to call it, that was a horror film with teens, had this same cover.
Yeah.
So I always remember the cover of it. But I also remember, I think it was in one of those, those cheap 4-pack DVDs that you would get. Oh, gold, absolute gold. I remember watching it on there, and I was like, okay, interesting. A lot of guys shirtless in an underwear. A lot of queer baiting going on here. Okay. And to be fair, yeah, that's kind of just my story, really. I was fascinated with that alone.
Yeah, I mean, who can blame you? We are, of course, discussing I've Been Watching You, a.k.a. The Brotherhood from 2001. Now, listeners of this podcast may recall we discussed Final Scream.
Yes.
Final Scream, I remember from Blockbuster. I said on the episode I was very confused as to why no one was talking about this new Scream sequel, because I was a naive child. And yeah, very much the same sort of thing with this. This is absolutely going for I Know What You Did Last Summer.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know why, because the film is not even close. It is absolutely trying to be the Lost Boys.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's trying so hard to be homoerotic Lost Boys. And you know what? The Lost Boys is gay enough as it is already. We discussed it last year for Pride Month. This somehow makes it even gayer. Of course, it's directed by the master of badly acted homoeroticism himself, David DeCoteau. Yeah, of course, as I said, Final Scream, Creepazoid, Speed Demon, 9210 Shark Attack,
90210
Shark, whatever, Asian Ghost Story, and so many more. We did reel off a big list of his on the final Scream episode, if you're curious to what else he made. Written by Barry L. Levy, who wrote Vantage Point, which was quite a big film, I remember. It's like about an assassination. I think, who was in it? Jaws 3D guy.
Dennis Quaid.
I think Dennis Quaid was in it. Maybe.
Never heard of it.
I may be wrong.
I think it's Vanishing Point.
No, Vantage Point.
Oh.
Yeah, Paranoia, Wolves of Wall Street. Yes, Werewolves of Wall Street.
Shut up.
LA's Finest, etc., etc. And also written by Matthew Jason Walsh, who wrote Kingdom of the Vampire, Bloodletting, Deep Freeze, Speed Demon, Bram Stoker's Legend of the Mummy 2. Now that's a classic. Have you seen that one?
I watched it years ago because that cover was everywhere, wasn't it?
It really was. That was in every blockbuster.
Yeah.
Is that one with Shelley Duvall?
No, it's
Oh,
not. Not quite.
I've never heard of any of these.
Have you got the interview of Vantage?
I have. I'm sorry. I had to look because it would haunt me for the whole episode, and I won't be able to talk. It was Barry L. Levy wrote Vantage Point. It's got Dennis Quaid in.
Oh.
Yeah, Forrest Whitaker. Yeah.
Yeah, so
Very,
I mean,
very
big
memorable.
deal.
Some big names.
Weaver's in it.
Sigourney Weaver's in it.
Now
you
you've
know?
got my interest. Sigourney Weaver is in it. We're gonna have to watch that now.
I watched it.
I'm excited.
I've watched it. It's not terrible. It's not terrible.
Yeah, I'm excited. It's gonna be good.
Can't tell you how much this film made or how much it grossed because it was straight to video. And as for the trivia, we haven't got a lot. So here's a little bit about David DeCoteau in case we didn't talk about him enough in the final Screw episode. He's worked professionally in the film business since he was 18. Got his start through Roger Corman, who hired him in 1980 as a production assistant at New World Pictures. And in 1986, he produced his first feature film for Charles Band and is the founder of Rapid Heart Pictures, where his films including A Talking Car, that's how it's spelled with the question mark.
A talking cat.
A Talking Cat, and the 1313 series, and has produced and directed more than 100 motion pictures during his career. Do we have favourite David DeCoteau films? I mean, mine would be this. I think it's the most entertaining. But I haven't seen a lot of them, though.
They've all been really subpar. I'm not going to lie to you.
It's like a whole other rating system when it comes to him. Like, I mean, I gave this 3 out of 10, but in normal ratings, that would be like a solid 7 out of 10.
Jesus Christ. Nightmare Sisters, maybe?
Oh, fuck off.
Did you find Ballarama?
Yeah, he did.
Yeah.
That was all
That was bad.
Well,
No. If you're listening,
Santa's
David.
Summer House.
Santa's Summer House.
Or The Runaway Christmas Bride. That was a good one, weren't it?
Runaway Christmas Bride. That's
That was
the one.
probably, yes.
Runaway Christmas Bride. That's my favourite.
What's your favourite one, Lee?
Mine would have to be Voodoo Academy, mostly just because it's practically softcore porn. It's just a load of guys just rubbing themselves down all the way through in white Calvins. I mean, who doesn't like that?
Exactly. I mean, that's pretty much 666 Creepy Carrie as well. Have you seen that one?
No, but that's on the list.
It's just that. It's just guys rubbing around on either beds or each other in white underwear. That's all it is.
He's a master at what he does. Absolutely.
Yeah. I mean, he's got it down, hasn't he? He's figured it out. This was initially filmed as I've Been Watching You. The title was later changed to The Brotherhood, and it garnered 5 sequels under the new title. I'm going to watch all of them.
Gracious, no. No. This is clearly before the internet.
Yeah.
So this was for, young men trying to discover themselves. They would watch these kind of films. So he has moved on with the times. He's very much family entertainment now.
Oh, hey, there we go. You asked me yesterday what was my heart stopper as a teenager. 666 Creepy Carrie.
Good gracious.
That's what it was. That's.
I mean, to be fair, like in a way, you are right though. He kind of got this idea from like watching those films like that do have those homoerotic tendencies, like Top Gun with the volleyball scene.
Yeah.
and what have you. And like, I think that's where the idea kind of stemmed from, to have like this homoeroticism at the front and center of these films with these really attractive guys.
Yeah, with absolutely no subtlety whatsoever.
But then you can't go all the way.
Yeah,
So,
yeah.
Spoiler alert for this film. The only real action we get is two men and a woman. You have to have a woman in the middle.
Hey, it's good bisexual representation.
You can't go all the way, can you?
Well, but last bit of trivia, which isn't really trivia, it's just something that I found amusing. This is listed on Google under horror and gay pornography. Not quite. One question we ask about every film we cover during Pride Month. This is going to be an easy one. We always ask our guests to answer. What makes this gay?
The camera shots of like arse and shirtless men, and just the way the camera pans down just certain body parts.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, yeah, usually we'd just go, oh, well, it's got a gay director, or it's got, get him. No, this is just 100% gay from start to finish, with a woman thrown in to not scare the straights off.
Yeah, to get that funding. You've got to get that funding somehow, haven't you?
So getting into the film, the fraternity Doma, Tau Omega, has found a key to eternal youth without having to become blood-drinking vampires. Will they be able to recruit Chris, an innocent and perfect newcomer?
What? What did you put that down wrong?
No, that's the IMDb official premise.
They found a key to eternal youth without having to become blood-drinking vampires.
Yeah, spoiler alert, they transfer their souls into new bodies every 100 years.
But they drink blood.
They do drink blood as well.
And they are vampires.
Yeah.
Who wrote that?
IMDb. David DeCoteau himself, I assume.
Right. Well, that's not right.
Yeah. Also, as badly written as this film, I mean, some of the worst dialogue I've ever heard. The big twist towards the end with Megan. I mean, we're going to go for the whole film anyway. I didn't see that coming.
No.
So, congrats to David DeCoteau on that achievement.
I suppose if you don't care, then everything's a surprise.
We start the film with a budget version of Freddie Prinze Jr. running around for a bit with a shirt ripped open, before a budget version of NSYNC dressed as the Lost Boys surround him. They talk a bit of shit and then they eat him before we get the very boring and very long opening credits with a very serious score.
Yeah.
I
have a lot in my notes is conventionally handsome. A lot of conventionally handsome men in this film, right from the get-go. Half in buttoned white shirts, living la vida loca.
I actually put down a boy dressed as Simon Cowell running away from 4-Hour Blockbuster.
I didn't think for that way, but you're absolutely right.
Very much so.
But he's just all bad X Factor contestants surrounded him then.
Yeah, that's if you just took away the rest of the film, that's pretty much the plot of that opening.
You put NSYNC. I didn't think they were quite up to NSYNC.
Did
standards.
you not think?
I thought O-Town. If you remember Liquid Dreams. If anyone is of that age who remembers O-Town, that's what they were giving me.
Yeah, I suppose. But I mean, they got the blonde hair and stuff.
Yes, the spiky hair.
NSYNC
spiky hair.
After that thrilling opening sequence, which does come back in later on, and straight away actually with this. There's a news reporter reporting the incident as a possible result of hazing ritual. She interviews Devon, the leader of the boy band, with his frosted tips, and he just looks ridiculously suspicious, as does his boys in the background. Like, I mean, they're not trying to hide it, are they?
No. Gail Weathers is on the case, so
if only.
She's got that look. Every reporter in the late 90s looked like that.
Yeah.
No, she's not quite the queen bitch of the section from Final Scream, is she?
No. Oh, Final Scream, that's the one. Yeah, that's. I keep forgetting the names of films that we've covered. Final Scream.
I mentioned it like 5 times already.
I know.
Yeah, then we're introduced to young Chris Chandler, a student at Drake University who gets a new roommate, Dan Myers. He introduces himself. Dan says hi, and he says, "Hi, what the hell can I do for you?"
That's very much. When I first watched this, I thought, this looks like familiar territory. I think I know which way this is going to go next. Because it just...
Hey, this isn't my dorm.
Because I just thought to myself... Yeah, he's trying to act like that proper hard jock bro. I thought, any minute now, he's going to push him down on the bed and bend him over, to be quite frank with you. But no, it didn't go that way.
He does push him down on the bed at one point, but then actually leaves. It doesn't quite go where it looks like it's going. Yeah, Chris is in his white vest, and he's so rude to Dan immediately. But then reveals he was joking, but that doesn't really make much difference considering he's still got the exact same expression on his face and the same voice tone, because his performance is just ridiculous. It's so good. It is absolutely a porn performance. Do you think these were porn stars hired for this film?
Well, they weren't hired for their acting ability. That's definitely for sure. What I'm getting is, no, I'm not too familiar with American college life, but the banter is essentially telling people you've only just met things in a really aggressive way, and then go, only kidding. Like, why did you not? How did you not know I was kidding? Like, because we've only just met. Like, I just thought you were an aggressive person. But pretty much for the whole film, that is the banter. Like, I'm going to kill you in your sleep. Oh my god, you're gonna kill me. How? Why would you think I was gonna kill you? You just told me, bitch.
So, guys, what's one factor about Dan that we're definitely not reminded of throughout the entire film? What's one really noticeable factor about his character? What's his stereotype?
He's fucking hideous. He's a beast. He's disgusting. He is the most unattractive man on the planet. He is a nerd. He's a geek. He is a piece of shit. He's awful. Because he has sideburns. He didn't have decency to have glasses. For
I know.
I'm
very surprised.
Yeah.
You're doing a nerdy
surprised
character.
that, I
Go
think.
full nerd, for God's sake. I'm just sat there like, oh my god. If he's hideous, what am I? I'm so...
Yeah. They don't let you forget that he's a nerd. We hear it many times.
Doesn't. Everyone else is quite supportive of him. But he himself has the lowest self-esteem. It's ridiculous. Poor man. Imagine having that role, though. Imagine having that role. No, I think we don't want you for Chris, mate. We're going to have you for Dan. So read Dan's part. Oh, the hideous one. Yes. He's perfect for it. You've got the role. Great.
Yeah. There really is no hope for the rest of us if that's the man.
Yeah, it's one thing about David DeCoteau's films. Even like the nerdy, hideous guys, they've all got six packs. They're all ripped. They all look like underwear models.
And shall I just open this can of worms now?
Yeah.
They're all white as well. Let's be very clear. This is very much the conventional, handsome-looking,
David
group of people.
David DeCoteau doesn't figure out diversity until like 2008, is it? Like around that time when he started doing those the wrong husband, the wrong school teacher.
Yeah, Vivica A. Fox films. Yeah, it is very, and I you find it with a lot of these films. I'm assuming Creepy Carrie's the same.
Oh yeah, of course.
Very much.
They could be the same actors.
One view of attractive men.
Yeah.
Unfortunately.
I mean, Devin, the actor who plays Devin's double dipped, hasn't he? Because he was in Final Stab or Final Scream.
He was. I thought I recognised him.
Yeah.
I'm sure many of these definitely return.
Yeah.
Apparently, all Chris could get on his TV as the news channel, and they're reporting that weird thing that happened on campus this morning. What, the fucking murder? The guy that got murdered like outside your fucking house.
How long's this interview been going on for?
Oh yeah, it goes on for
a very long interview.
I mean,
what am I supposed to say?
It's like everything in this film, though. Like, some scenes just go on and on. The interview goes on and on. The opening credits go on and on. The music goes on and on.
Yeah, speaking of which, the next scene we get, after a bit more joking and whatever the fuck they're talking about, the next scene is Chris doing shirtless stretches outside of his house with the camera focusing on his ass, with his shorts that he's clearly gave himself a purpose wedgie with to get the attention of the cameraman, whilst the NSYNC looking guys walk over and just start watching him by a tree with the sunglasses on. What can be said about that?
Well, Devon says, oh, he's perfect. He's beautiful. He looks like Linda Evangelista. He's got no shorts. It's strange. Like, I'm assuming the camera is meant to be us as the point of view of Devon. So he's like homing right in on the ass.
Yeah.
Yeah, you know David DeCoteau was like, okay, try and make your ass as visible as possible. Make it stand out as much as you can.
Yeah. It's also weird that no one else around is doing this either.
No. Going about their day.
Shirtless runner. But the only one. There's like no... And apparently he's a swimmer anyway. Clearly they couldn't afford to film in a swimming pool.
No. They saved that for part 2.
Oh, do they? Have you seen part 2?
I have, yeah.
Oh, wow.
Does he come? Is it the same actor?
No, it's a different storyline altogether. But yeah, it's about swimmers.
Oh, okay. Higher budget then. They can afford a swimming pool. Because he says to Dan, he's like, Dan sees a trophy for swimming, and he's like, oh, you must have got in on a scholarship. He's like, don't you stereotype me? I'm what? Just because I'm a swimmer, just because I'm good at, I'm athletic, that means that I got in on a scholarship. And then another one like, oh no, I did get in on a scholarship. I'm just kidding, banter.
I'm just messing with you again.
Oh yeah, and you were hired on your acting ability as well. Sure. They also said we're both too young for bars. No, I don't think. You're definitely old enough to drink, my dear.
Yeah, Devon and the DTO approach Chris after he falls off his bike whilst watching Student of Psychology, Megan. And then Devon just starts to chat Chris up. Megan, talking of looking like they're a bit too old to be playing the ages of these characters, Megan looks like everyone's mum.
Mm.
Yes, who got into her daughter's makeup kit. She's serving a look. She's serving 2001. Yeah, she's very, very much so. She's
serving Mary Kate and Ashley Hare and all in that.
Yes. She's going for that wet look. She's got frosted lip gloss. And there's random curls.
But yeah, Chris ain't interested in all that. He wants a bit of Devon, doesn't he?
Mm.
So Devon introduces the rest of the boys, Mikhail, Jordan, and my favourite, Barry. Chris points out Devon's fraternity necklace and tells him how expensive it looks. Who's your favourite member of DTO? Is it Barry?
No, it's Mikhail.
Oh, okay. Mikhail and his axe. Who's your favourite, Lee?
I like a good leader, so mine's definitely Devon. However, Barry's giving me that energy with that name.
I hope Barry got a good payday for this, because he didn't do much, does he?
Yeah, he doesn't do anything.
See Barry. Gets in his underwear at the end, so...
Yeah.
EastEnders has ruined the name Barry. You can't call anyone Barry anymore. All I can think of is Barry from EastEnders getting pushed down a fucking hill.
Was that what you were thinking of when you were watching Barry in this film?
Yes. Yeah, that's all I was thinking of. So where's Janine when you need her?
We're not thinking of Barry from EastEnders singing at Joe Biden's inauguration.
No.
I mean, as well. What is that necklace? I mean, it's like it's like Elio's Argos, isn't it? It's just very cold. It's very tacky. It's definitely not.
Definitely, yeah. That was definitely picked up from the nearest fancy dress shop. Yeah, it looks very tacky. So I don't know why he thinks it looks expensive. The props in this film are all amazing because they all look so cheap. I mean, the axe coming up later on is a work of art.
Yeah.
Yes, after this awkward encounter, Chris tells Dan all about it, but leaves out the part about Devon and his boys.
He does.
Yeah, he just tells he's scoping out Megan.
Scoping out chicks or whatever. God's sake. The dialogue in this film. Scoping out.
We find out again that Dan is a science nerd who never gets girls. Poor Dan.
Yeah. Chris is he can't make his mind up in this film, and I feel like that's the theme of the film. Chris cannot make his mind up. So he's not like the usual jock. He's like, oh, well, don't stereotype me. But then he's like, yeah, I was scoping out chicks. I fell off my bike. So he's like, well, which one are you? And it's a theme that comes, if I'm trying to find a theme for the film, it's difficult. The theme is Chris can't make his mind up. So I think it's probably an allegory on bisexuality.
Yeah.
Yeah. Should we go with that?
We'll go with that.
Yeah. It's what I try and do. If you listeners of the podcast, frequent listeners will know that I try to intellectualize stuff that might not be able to intellectualize.
It could be the case, though. I mean, it is David DeCoteau, so I think you could be onto something.
Struggling with his sexuality.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sounds so intelligent.
Right. Carry on.
Chris spots some guys harassing Megan and tries telling them to fuck off whilst pretending she's his sister. They eventually leave after some awful dialogue exchange.
Yeah, and the shittest flirting I've ever seen in my life.
Yeah, I mean, they weren't going to get anywhere, but they eventually leave, and Megan's like, hey, I didn't need you to rescue me, with less life in it than that delivery.
Well, Dan was like, I've heard a lot about you, Megan. As far as I know, they've only been there a few days at this point. It's just, were you told how nice my tits were?
Yeah, she wants to know if he's been told that all the guys want to bang her because that's what's usually said. But Dan puts a good word in for Chris. It's like, no, Chris isn't like that. He's not like the other guys.
Yeah, he's not like the other guys.
He's not a stereotype.
I just don't understand why Dan's speaking on Chris's character, despite only knowing him a few days at most. Like, he can't speak on his character.
No. She asks Chris if he has a problem with the fraternities, and he gets very defensive because apparently everyone keeps asking him about it. Who?
Interesting.
Yeah. Like, do you have a problem with gay people?
Oh.
If I'm homophobic. Wow. Yeah. And Megan is clearly
massive ally.
An ally.
Yeah.
What I was going to say, am I allowed to say it?
What?
Fag hag.
She's a fag
hag. Isn't she?
I suppose. Well, Megan is basically.
Am I allowed to say it? It's my podcast. Yeah, of course I'm going to say
it. Megan is basically Elizabeth Taylor and Suddenly Last Sunday.
Okay, so Suddenly Last Summer, not Last Sunday.
What the fuck am I talking about? That's two different gay films mixed together there.
This film. This might be a little bit of a excursion from the podcast, but this film is it's kind of brought together a lot of the films we've been watching recently. So like last week we did Initiation of Sarah, which was about fraternities and sororities. We yesterday watched Suddenly Last Summer, which was about a woman getting the attention of men for her gay cousin.
That is absolutely this film.
Yeah, and I'm pretty sure we watched something else with frosted tips. In 2010.
There's a good chance. Oh, was it? But I'm a Cheerleader. That was 1999, so there could have been some frosted tips.
We watched Model Behaviour with.
There we
Justin
go.
Classic Disney Channel film, that.
Oh my god, I love it. Why is it not on Disney Plus?
I know.
So good. What a classic.
So this is a mixture of all those films.
Yeah, this is a mixture of it's a good choice, actually. We've got lots of reference points for it.
She invites Chris and Dan to a party of Doma Tau Omega, saying that she does not want to go there alone. Chris isn't sure about it, but Dan reminds him that he's a nerd. They bicker for a bit, and he eventually agrees to it. Just in case he forgot, he's a nerd.
Little confusion, though. She said, "Oh, my friend got me an invite to it, and it's an invite where I can invite more people, 1 or 2." Spoiler alert, we don't see her friend.
No, she's got no friend.
Oh, she's made it up.
Yeah,
she was part of the whole thing.
Yeah.
Gracious.
You've watched the film and you still don't know the twist.
Good gracious. Wow, that's great. That's some precursor, isn't it? Whatever the word is I'm looking for.
So the writing is actually really clever. Actually,
the writing is very clever.
Misunderstood classic. She's got some books. And Dan says, "Hey, that's a lot of reading. What's your major?" And she's like, "Psychology. What else? I don't know. Could be fucking anything. Can't be the titles of the books."
She could be doing performing arts for all you know. You know what I mean? She could be doing anything. So no need to be defensive.
Everyone is so defensive in this film, aren't they?
It's the gay experience. As a teenager, you're very defensive. Chris and Dan are getting ready for the party. Chris tells Dan that this is a very this was like Beautiful Thing, what we watched yesterday.
Oh Lord, yes it is. Yes it is.
Chris tells Dan he looks like he's going to a funeral and awkwardly sorts out his tie for him. I've never wrote awkwardly so much in my notes for one film before. There's a lot of awkward scenes in this film. Dan tells Chris he doesn't look stylish and looks better in sweats. Oh.
Yeah, anything's better than the ugly tie and shirt combos that are going.
Oh my god, yeah. Honestly, they both looked absolutely fucking awful.
They look like their parents had dressed them up to go to a wedding.
That is a weird thing. I mean, we've seen a lot of films with fraternities and university parties and such, and no one's ever dressed like that. I've never seen anyone in a film dressed like that for a frat party.
No.
Ever.
No.
It's ridiculous.
Ahead of its time, clearly. We haven't quite reached that point in cinema yet, where everyone starts dressing like that.
We haven't reached that point in society where people start dressing like that.
Chris provides Dan with his backstory about how he didn't have the stereotypical school party life that Dan thinks he did, and tells him all about his alcoholic father who ran away from him and his mother. Dan gives him a flirty look and tells him how they live parallel lives, but they're still so different. If he was Chris, he would have gone into the locker room, smashed the jocks' skulls in with a baseball bat, and he would have stole all their women. Sure, Dan.
Bit problematic there, to be honest.
It's very strange.
And then,
I mean, this is post-Columbine as well.
That's
very
sketchy.
awkward dialogue there.
Yeah.
Much like the Sally from Coronation Street scene in Beautiful Thing, Chris and Dan try finding out if either of them like Megan. Dan suggests that she might think they're a couple, and if Chris doesn't go to the party, he'll tell her they're a couple. He's really pushing it. He really wants this, doesn't he? Bless.
Even going as far to go as stepnetting.
Couple of questions for this scene.
Yeah.
Come on, backstory. We get for a little bit of Dan, a little bit backstory for Dan.
Yeah.
Alcoholic father. Why has he got a poster of beer bottles on his wall? I'm no party animal. I have a terrible history with alcohol and abuse in my family.
Oh
What's on your
my
wall,
God.
Dan? What's that poster? Oh, beer bottles.
You've got a very good eye, I must say that, because I didn't notice that.
I didn't notice that either. That's a very good spot in there.
Thank you. I was really paying attention, which is incredibly difficult for a film like this. Also, why are they acting like Chris is the Incredible Hulk? Like, so much of the dialogue is, oh my God, you could snap me in half. You are incredible.
I think Dan wants him to snap him in
Like,
half.
like the Terminator or something. Like, people are acting like he's huge, like 500 pounds of muscle about to break down walls. You know,
Yeah, no, it's true.
so
It's true.
ridiculous.
Yeah, I mean, the whole sequence is I thought they were going to start making out.
Mm.
Yeah, and if it was that kind of film, they probably would have.
Yeah, they've even got like the Lifetime like sad music in the background.
Yeah,
talking about it. So.
The producers wanted their money back, so
yeah,
they couldn't.
They go to the party, and when they arrive, Megan says, "Far out, he's got an axe." Yes, Mikhail is on the door with an axe, but it's not a real axe. It is foamy as fuck.
It is.
That is an absolute foam axe from a children's play area that they borrowed to quickly film in this film.
Yeah. Every time you see the axe as well, no one's acting like it's a struggle to hold. Like a real axe would be quite heavy, but no one's, they're just like swinging it around like nothing. Mikhail does the aggressive fake out, doesn't he?
Of course.
He's like, oh, I'm gonna hit you with this axe. I can't remember the dialogue, but it's still like being just really aggressive, and I'm like, nah, you're all right. Come on in. I was only joking. Banter.
Hey, Chris, do you like my axe? Whoa.
FYI, I fucking hate when characters in films are called Chris that we're covering for the podcast. I'm sitting in my head. I've had 33 years of people saying Chris and me turning around and saying, yeah, what? And now I'm like, every time you say, well, I didn't do that. I didn't do that. Why did I do that?
One of the only occasions where I'm glad I'm called Gary. I'm like,
no one's called Gary.
Yeah, I think we may have covered like one film with a Gary.
We've covered a few, but all the Garys are absolute assholes. And there wasn't a running theme where everyone
there was
Gary
actually
was a dickhead.
There was. I don't know if it's the podcast. I think it was just films we were watching. Just like Gary theme.
That's a good point, actually. I can't think of anyone called other than Gary the Snail from SpongeBob. I can't. In terms of films, I can't think of anyone else.
A little exclusive for the podcast. I was named after a famous Gary. I was named after Gary Newman, if that helps.
Oh, there we go. That's a good one, anyway. That's a good Gary.
There's a reason there's not a lot of people called Gary. It's absolutely a creepy uncle name, but here we are.
Gary Busey.
Oh, there we go.
Exactly.
Gary Busey.
There we are.
When they go inside the party, everyone is slow dancing to some really shit music, and Devon spots Chris. Dan spots some women that wouldn't spit on him if he was on fire.
This
would we
lack
spit
of
on
self-esteem, broken record bullshit is depressing.
Would we spit on Dan if he was on fire?
Yeah, I'd spit on anyone if they're on fire. I don't hate
even
people.
Dan. That fucking nerd, Dan.
That beast. Okay.
Megan tries asking Chris if he wants to dance in a suggestive way, but he's too interested in watching Devon and walks over to him.
Yeah, a lot of eye fucking going on in this scene between Chris and Devon.
Yeah.
Megan says, isn't that the president of the fraternity, Kevin? And then Chris is like, it's Dev. She's like, oh yeah, Devin Isley. How could you struggle on the first name, but know the surname?
She's trying to throw him off.
But she's trying to throw him off. I mean, I've got notes here like, oh, stupid bitch, don't fucking know, you know? How do you know someone's surname and not their first name?
On. He does look like Kevin.
No, he looks like a Devin. He's absolutely giving Devin Sawa.
Is he?
From, yeah.
You think?
With those frosted tips.
Well,
Oh, he looks like someone, and I can't think who. He does look the spitting image of another actor, and I can't think who it is. But yeah, it's definitely not Devon Sauer to me.
I meant hair-wise. I mean, what I mean is that David DeCoteau wanted to have Devon Sauer in the film, but couldn't, so had this guy.
Megan tries asking, yeah, we've been through that. She asks me what's dance. Devin ditches the girls he's with to hang out with Chris and tells him how his house is a 500-year-old house from Spain.
I mean, what the fuck though? Like, how the hell do you import a fucking house from Spain?
Imported this house from Spain 500 years ago. It's fucking ridiculous.
I know. It's just like and Chris is just like, okay.
Yeah. So is this Chris. You're not got anything to say about that.
No, he's talking about the Crusades, isn't he?
Yeah, he imported his house from Spain.
Like, yeah, all I can think of is importing turkeys from Maine. When you say that. What? Do you not remember High School Musical 2?
Oh, okay, yeah,
I want
true.
fabulous houses imported from Spain. He wants fabulous. It's a simple request.
I mean, yeah, that's some queen behaviour, getting your house imported from Spain.
That is. Kim Kardashian could never import her house from Spain. I think the big issue is, why that house? Because it don't look that impressive.
No.
It looks like a bungalow. Looks like Nan's bungalow.
He then starts telling him how kids were sent into battle back in the day.
I have no idea what the fuck he's going on about. Okay, well.
I imported my house. Kids were fighting in the war back then. Meanwhile, Dan tries being nosy around the frat house, but Megan stops him, which it makes sense now.
Yeah, it does. That is true, actually. Oh my god, Megan gets the most development.
She does.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, there's a reason she looks old enough to be everyone's mum. She's old enough to be everyone's great grandmother.
Well, no, she's 70.
Is she?
Yeah, she said, "Oh, at the end." Spoiler alert.
Oh, so she's not 500. Oh yeah, she's not 500
years ago. Devin took me on.
That makes sense. Yeah. So
prime fag hag.
Yeah, she's not old enough. Not old enough to have built that house then.
No.
Mm.
But still too old for that hair.
Devin gets Chris.
Do you know what I find? I'm going to mention it now. Is that throughout all these years that these guys have been alive, they have really kept up with the style.
Yeah.
And I think you'd think being alive for so long, you'd be, oh, for fuck's sake, I'll just wear a fucking cape. You know, I don't care. I'm having to buy these new clothes all the fucking time. You know, but they've really kept up with the style. Yeah. They've got their hair gelled. PVC vests are always in style. So that one.
Sorry, do you have something to say about PVC vests?
I did. I was going to say the whole way through rewatching this, just this morning, I was thinking, fucking hell, he must be hot. And I don't mean it about his body, I just mean just generally, like, he must be fucking sweating, because that looks like a very tight PVC vest.
Yeah, the outfits are some choices were made. There's a certain sequence coming up where they really we'll get to it. Devin gets Chris an absinthe on the rocks. It's very clear looking absinthe. I can tell you now, absinthe does not look like that.
No, it doesn't.
It is very green. Not even close. I mean, you'd have thought they'd have at least got some like limeade or something to make it look like it was absinthe, not just a glass of water.
It's true. Yeah. It looks like lighter fluid.
I'm also convinced in this scene, I'm sure the guy behind the bar calls Devin Kevin.
Yeah, that is.
I'm convinced.
Everyone's convinced he's a Kevin. Some random woman at the party gets bitten by a vampire and walks out of a room and says, "Ow, I think I hit my arm." And Megan just looks at her like, "I remember my first beer." Oh, what a read.
Yeah, she's like, oh, I'm not into spectacles. Should we go for a coffee, Dan? I'm like, she hurt her arm. She literally was like, oh, I hurt my arm. And they're acting like she's flailed on the floor, vomiting and pissing herself. Hoovering up chicken nuggets off the carpet. It's like, no, she literally said, ow, my arm. Like, what was it?
Yeah, the guy she's with wipes his mouth, so we know what's going on there.
Very quick.
Very quick, yeah.
Considering how long it takes later on in the film, that's very quick.
Yeah, so they leave to go and grab a coffee, Megan and Dan. Dan moans to Megan about how he's worried that Chris will be Devon's friend instead of his. We all know what you mean there.
We do.
This sequence is the one where it's like, okay, come on, David, just say it. Just fucking say it.
It's a weird thing that Megan kind of is fine with all this, because obviously we're meant to believe that she has a thing for Chris. Is that what it's meant to be?
I mean, not actually. No, it's just seducing him.
Mild flirtations with Dan, but I suppose when it comes to gay films, we're just used to a white girl getting her heart broken by a gay guy when it comes out.
Yeah, that's not the case here.
No, I mean that's ahead of its time. Like, yeah, no one getting upset with the gay guy for coming out. Well, I was in love with you too.
Chris, who is now drunk, is. I mean, you wouldn't be able to tell because he's still doing the same performance he's been doing the entire film.
This is the one thing where American films differ massively to British culture. It's that like they rock up to parties with like 6 cans of beer. Like, let's get wrecked. And they're like, oh my god, I'm so drunk. Oh my god, this guy is wasted. Get him out of the party. He's a mess. Whereas in like, I went to uni in the UK. I mean, there's nothing compared to how people got at parties. I mean, if you're not passed out in the bath, you're fine.
You rock up with about 4 bottles of Lambrini, and that sets you off.
You ain't got a bottle of Buckfast. You ain't doing it right.
Yeah, Chris is now drunk and is made a member of DTO by Devon awkwardly drinking a bit of his blood, whilst in turn, Chris has to awkwardly drink a bit of Devon's. I mean, this is the most awkward blood drink I've ever seen in any vampire film.
He even, what is it he says? He says, let me think on that. I can't remember the line, but I was just like, what the fuck? That's not what you say after someone's just drank your blood. Oh no, he says, ew, gross.
One thing I didn't get is it's the I'm gonna get it. But it's the tiniest prick. Like, you ain't gonna get much blood from that. Like with the little needle thing that they use throughout the film. It's I don't get, like, could they not afford to just get like more props or like more makeup effects? So they're just going around with this like little needle and like poking people and then pretending that it's like a big gush of blood comes out. And like, whoever wrote this, I can imagine was like, do you know what? We're going to do things differently. Let's have him suck blood from the palm. Yeah, the palm. Yeah, let's do that. And then like, what's the opposite side of the elbow? Isn't there a word for it? But no one. So the elbow. What's the other side?
I have no idea.
No, there's a word for it. An elbow. But anyway, we're going to suck blood from there as well. We ain't going to do necks. We're different. What's the word? If anyone knows, DM me.
You know, you're going to get a bunch of pictures now of someone's, like, inner arm.
Yeah. I'm like, I don't get any interactions, and I'm fine with that. Thank you very much.
Oh no,
Like,
that
you're
it doesn't say.
Katerina, who's got big boobs and wants.
So no, Chris doesn't say Groves. He says, "Oh man, that was sick." During that scene.
Yeah, he wakes up the next day fully lost, boys. Needs his sunglasses when he wakes up. But instead of Diane Weiss, we get Dan, unfortunately. Devin's voice is in his head, telling him that he needs to drink blood 2 more times before he's part of the Brotherhood. And Dan tells him someone dropped off a suitcase with clothes in that he apparently forgot. It's a suitcase full of fucking hideous outfits.
It's like knockoff Versace, late 90s sort of gear, yeah. Versace.
Chris is rude to Dan, and rude for real this time, and pushes him onto his bed before leaving to go to DTO. Yeah?
Yeah, he does. Yeah. I'm a little lost.
You're a little lost?
I'm a little lost. Don't tell everyone.
Well, the next scene is Dan following Chris and breaking into the DTO house, investigating the book of DTO, where he is shocked, apparently, you can't really tell, to find photos of Devon throughout the decades of the fraternity's history completely unchanged.
Oh, yeah, I'm back.
Yeah.
Question. Did they have no budget for glue in this fucking film? Well, I mean, a bit PVA would have sufficed. Because like, he opens the book and all the fucking photos are falling out.
Yeah.
Like, what is this? It's all complete shambles.
I mean,
he gets the 411, doesn't he?
Yeah.
Yeah. They all look exactly the same over the decades.
I missed this part. Did they all have the same hairstyle over the years? Yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, that hairstyle was big 500 years ago, so we're trying to keep it in style.
And poor Megan, she's been with him 70 years. She ain't in any of the photos.
Yeah, this probably should have been the point where he found out that Megan was part of it.
She's not part of any of it. She's just on the side. She's the one taking the photos.
The guys who were harassing Megan find Chris in a white shirt and those ugly leather pants and try beating him up before they're interrupted by Devon and the boys. And now this is the scene I was on about earlier. They look more gay than ever, and they are in PVC leather and robes. This is some compilation of outfits.
It really is. It's interesting choices. I'll give them that.
Mikhail, he's trying to look the most gay out of all of them, isn't he? He's trying his best.
Oh yeah, PVC vest.
Yeah.
It's giving me girl group influenced by The Matrix. I'm pretty sure the Spice Girls did some variant of this.
I'm sure they did. They deal with the bullies, don't they?
They deal with well, it's hard. It's weird because it's like, who are the bullies? Like who? And I also, people like this. This is what people are like. Like, it's people going around with baseball bats at university. It's very different to my university days.
Yeah, Chris got knocked out with a baseball bat, and he gets up and he's like, I just took a baseball bat to the jaw and barely felt a thing. What did you do to me? Okay, Hunt, you were knocked out for like 5 minutes. How did you not feel a thing?
He just couldn't be bothered. He was like, oh. I'm getting involved.
He's introduced to Sandy at a DTO party where she's doing some amazing dancing. Did we all enjoy her dancing?
No.
She walks over, and my favourite line of dialogue in the film, she says, I'm wet like a honey pot.
She's going for Jennifer Tilly, I feel.
Trying
is the key word.
That
eyeshadow is it's rough. We all make choices. That's a choice.
We do.
Messy. It's not very, well put on.
God
bless her.
In a bizarre series of events, Devon takes Chris and Sandy to his bedroom, where she strips to her underwear and tries inviting Chris to the bed, whilst Devon explains to him that he's a vampire, but not a vampire, and they drink blood from college girls. Yeah, just you're a vampire. Just you're a vampire.
Yeah.
It's not saying you're not a vampire. You are absolutely a vampire.
It's giving me Mask for Mask. I'm a vampire, but I'm not like a normal vampire. I don't wear a cape, I'm a manly vampire.
Straight acting vampire.
Straight acting vampire. Oh God. Is this not the epitome of no fats, femmes,
yeah,
Asian?
That's absolutely what he is.
This is the whole film. No fats, femmes, Asian. Oh God.
I mean, this scene. I mean,
here's a question: have you seen The Howling 2?
I don't think I've ever seen the Howling. That's the one with Christopher Lee, isn't it? And
it is.
Yeah, I don't think I've seen that one.
Okay, so this is a question for Chris. Do you prefer this or the werewolf orgy in The Howling 2?
The werewolf orgy in Howling 2.
Because it's got Sybil Danning ripping one tit out.
Yeah.
The whole thing.
This is fucking painful. This is so boring. I'm like, I did not sign up. God bless this beautiful girl, Sandy, but I did not sign up for this. I signed up for homoeroticism. I don't.
This is made for bisexual people.
Yeah.
I'm not a bisexual person, so I did not sign up for this.
Yeah. So Sandy and Devon strip Chris down to his tighty whities, a David DeCoteau tradition.
It's a signature.
It is not so tighty though. I thought they were very highly unflattering. They were like really baggy in places.
Well, he starts attempting to go down on her, whilst Devon strips in the background with his black underwear to symbolise that he's already a vampire. Symbolism through boxers.
Oh my
God. Devon starts cutting Sandy's arms and making Chris drink her blood, whilst he starts drinking from the other arm. This goes on for about 2 hours, and it genuinely looks like the same shots on a loop for that entire time.
Mm-hmm.
It's so awkward because they're like humping the bed whilst licking her arm, and then the music is really quiet. It's just it's so weird. It's kind of like, those YouTube videos where they take the sound out and you just hear like really awkward noises from music videos. It's kind of like that, but it just goes on forever. And then eventually Devon asks how Chris feels, and he's like, I feel alive. Devon wipes blood from Chris's lips, licks it off his fingers, goes down, but then the scene ends.
Yeah. Talk about tasting the rainbow. Free blood. We all know what that scene really meant.
Yeah, I mean, for David DeCoteau, this is pretty mild.
Yeah.
Even though it does go on for so long. But I mean, it's just a taste of the rest of his filmography, where this sequence is practically the entire film. That's 666 Creepy Carrie.
Yeah. From what I've seen of his filmography, is a lot of his films center around naked ladies.
Not really. No.
Not really.
I mean,
Linnea Quigley works with a lot of Frank Stevens.
Yeah.
It's very much that straight male 18 to 30 audience.
Yeah.
Whereas I find with this one, in a post-Scream, we say that a lot on the podcast, but in a post-Scream horror film, that's not really the set. I know it's homoerotic, but if you're trying to trick people into watching a Scream knockoff, then, it's less about the sex and more about good-looking teens being dramatic.
Yeah.
Really.
I mean, that's why it was clever marketing, really, during that era of, you know, when the video rental shop was still, you know, a very much more profitable thing. And obviously by having like this sort of queer baiting, so the gays know there's queer baiting, but like you said, with having Megan involved in the mix, it's enough for straight people to watch it because it's got that lead female character in it who kind of drives the heteronormative narrative to it, I guess.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I mean, I'm just amused at the amount of straight people that would have rented this from Blockbusters only to get to this scene, where they've had to watch two men, you know, hump in a bed in their underwear while slicking someone's arm. I'm sure they would have been absolutely thrilled with that.
Yeah. Yeah, I think sometimes it's about, obviously, movies are businesses, and for him to be able to make a film, he would have to get money from somewhere, producers, and in 2001, a overtly homosexual horror film, you ain't getting any funding for that.
No.
You know, you ain't getting anything for that. So, and as queer people, we try and find representation. I mean, this slaps you in the face, but we're more akin to trying to find representation wherever we can.
Yeah.
So a typical straight audience may not have read the signs as deeply as we do.
No.
Because they're not looking for those signs. God bless them. If they're not looking for the homoeroticism, they are fucking bored as shit. They are not having a good time with this film. It's the only thing that's interesting.
It's true.
Fucking hell.
The next day, Devon tells Chris that he lives eternally as long as he transforms his soul into a new body every century, and that this time Chris would be the one whose body is used. He explains Chris is the reincarnation of his 100-year-old lover.
He does say that, but it's another fake out.
Was it?
Yeah.
Okay.
He said, I could tell you that. I could tell you it's because of this, that, and the other. But really, it's just because I thought you looked good in your shorts. Essentially, you know, I need a body for the next 100 years, and I've chosen yours because you were bent over, tying your shoelace.
Doing stretches.
With your wedgie.
The student found dead on campus was made to commit suicide as he was afraid to participate in the ceremony and threatened to go public. I mean, he wasn't made to commit suicide. They all, like, gathered in on him.
Yeah, at no point was it ruled a suicide that we knew of. It's Chris that says, and was it Dan? Says something about, and the suicide on campus. And it's like, no one ruled it a suicide. As far as I know, Dale at the beginning was telling us it was a murder investigation.
Yeah. Chris tries to flee, but he's taken away by Barry and Jordan. Baz is back.
Baz and George.
Dan tells Megan the plot of the film and persuades her to go with him to Chris's room, which they find totally ravaged.
Totally ravaged.
I thought
that would have been a great name for a film. Totally ravaged.
And David DeCoteau would be the perfect person to make.
Coming to a video rent blockbuster. Totally ravaged.
They decide to look for Chris at the fraternity house, where Devon, Chris, and the boys are now all in their underwear and beginning the ritual.
Now we're getting somewhere.
Yeah. Did anyone else notice that every scene, and this was some Final Scream as well. You've seen Final Scream, haven't you?
Yes, yeah.
Did you notice that every night scene had lightning constantly?
Now that you've mentioned
perfect during the day, but the moment the sun set, it was like no thunder, just constant flashing lights.
Yeah. Oh yeah, there is, because there's a lot of blue in the nighttime scenes especially when it's lightning.
All the time. No rain, just constant lightning.
Dan and Megan try to enter the fraternity house, but their way is blocked by Mikhail in his finest leather gear, who threatens them with his foam axe. He says, "I have cut off many heads in my life as the royal executioner, and I have no problem cutting off yours." Good old royal executioner.
So Mikhail clearly knows that Dan knows about everything, or else that makes no sense whatsoever. What are you going on about? I'm just Chris. What are you talking about?
Dan grabs the needle used by the fraternity members to get blood from their victims.
Where did he get that from?
Chris's room.
Oh, so Chris just left it lying around.
Just left it lying around.
Oh, okay.
I mean, something as expensive as that, you know, just left it lying around. He thrusts it into Mikhail's neck and kills him as they awkwardly stand around watching him. It's like, they could have just gone into the house. He's dead. It's fine. But they just stand there watching him. And then after, Megan was like, "What the hell was that? Like, he died. Dan killed him. You watched this happen for far too long." What does she mean? What was that? Was there meant to be some big special effects? He was meant to explode, or?
But again, spoiler alert, because I know this is the next scene. But she's like fucking fuming later about it. It's like, well, fucking stop it, man. Like, what the hell did you just stand there for? Like, what the hell was that? She's like, she's livid.
Yeah, this is the moment where she should reveal what's going on. Maybe save Mikhail, you know, and kill Dan. Plenty of opportunities.
This is what I don't understand. Megan could have killed Dan in Chris's room.
Yeah.
She could have just turned around and said, "Yeah, you're dead." She didn't even need an explanation.
No.
This happens in film, and of course it's cinematic license to do this. But a lot of things in films, particularly horror films, can be prevented if people just got on with things. Just like Megan was just like, "I don't need to explain fuck all to Dan. Dan doesn't need to be there for the ceremony. I'm just gonna kill him now. I'm gonna save everyone the hassle. I'm gonna save everyone the effort. Mikhail can have the night off. Doesn't need to stand guards. I'm just gonna kill him in the flat." But you know, all goes tits up because of Megan.
Yeah.
She's not that way.
Well, I mean, she is. She's just a really bad one.
She's a bad ally. She's a bad.
In the house, Dan and Megan meet Baza, Jordan, Devon, and Chris, who are still doing the ceremony. Megan reveals herself as a decoy who has worked for Devon over the last 70 years and was tasked with luring Chris. She threatens Dan with the axe, saying that she'll kill him if Chris tries to resist the ritual. Chris stops fighting and kneels down in front of Devon. But Devon says, "I want you to beg for it and drain me dry."
Right in front of his crotch.
Yeah, like, I mean, come on. Subtlety is now well and truly out of the window.
Good. It's about time as well.
Exactly.
It's very similar to the straight audience for the film as well. Lure them in, and then right at the end, this is super gay. You've been watching a gay film.
While everyone is concentrating on Chris, Dan suddenly breaks free of Megan. He takes the axe and attacks Devon with it after saying, "I'm going to hell for this. Have a heart, arsehole." What does that even mean?
No idea.
I mean, there's also that very important line as well. "You don't get it, Chris. I'm their sugar daddy. If they die, I lose their mortality." The fact that Devon refers to himself as a sugar daddy says it all.
500-year-old sugar daddy.
Could you just imagine, like, a sleepover and the kids are thinking they're going to watch a horror film like Scream, and then they're like, "Oh, they rent this from Blockbuster," and they put it on, and then towards the end they're like, "Wait, what's this?" I did that when I was younger. My Heartstopper, and we discussed this yesterday, was The Opposite of Sex, which was a Christina Ricci film, which was very much marketed as Christina Ricci in a bikini kind of film. And I watched it because it had Lisa Kudrow in and Christina Ricci, and it was a gay film, and it was about her having an affair with her gay brother's boyfriend and such. And so I had a sleepover once, and my friends found this film and thought, oh my god, let's watch this, you know, and put it on, and I'm there like, oh my god, this is a gay film, it's a gay film, it's a gay film. And I'm like in school, and I'm like, oh god, and they watched it, and they're just like, that was a gay film. Like, they thought it was like a Christina Ricci raunchy erotic Channel 5 thriller. And that was gay. I was like, oh no, I'm out, oh no. This is it.
I mean, could you imagine though, actually having a sleepover and putting this on, like when you were younger? Like that. I wish I could go back now and do that. That would be so awesome.
Great.
Yeah. No, I haven't got anything to outdo that. That's pretty gay.
That is. I'm assuming that was my coming out story. I don't know.
Yeah. I mean, I'm sure it would have been an easy guess after that.
No one really mentioned it afterwards. It was like never brought up, the fact that we sat there watching a really gay film. It wasn't like an erotic gay film, but it was. Yeah, it was very gay. It was very gay.
So, speaking of gay, back to this film. Before he dies, Devon says, "Just tell me one thing. Did you want it? Just a little. Did you love me?" And Chris friend zones him just before death and says, "I loved you like a brother."
Oh.
And then Devon, the other fraternity members, and Megan all roll around the floor for a bit and die. Chris and Dan, we assume now through coding that they're together. They're standing amongst the carnage going on. Dan asks why Chris didn't die, and Chris answers, "I told you, I'd never join a goddamn fraternity," and then leave the house and the film ends. How do we interpret that ending?
I don't think they were together.
No?
I think this was Chris finding God and returning to his heteronormative life with his geeky best friend.
Pretty much the same thing. Down the message comes across as hetero gay panic and reverting back to that heterosexuality by the end.
Yeah.
It'll be interesting to see if any of the sequels bring back these characters to see where they ended up. You know, you're dying to know.
No, I'm not. No. If someone can just tell me, then no.
It's basically from here on out I haven't seen all the sequels, but I've seen the first three. I believe they're all just different stories where similar shit happens. And yeah, I mean, I'll be totally honest, I actually prefer the second one a lot more to this one. But it's more or less like the same, but with a different scenario.
Well,
it's like Friday the 13th.
Future podcast though.
Yeah, can we do ourselves a favour though, and just like bunch them all together?
Bunch them all together.
I can't do
Too late now.
an
What is it, the
episode
first
for
film?
each. I don't care. I can't do an episode for each film.
Well, that's the Brotherhood, aka I've been watching you. What's our closing thoughts?
Oh, would you like me to go first?
We'll save yours for last. Lee, what's your closing thoughts?
I mean, my closing thoughts are, for me, I rate this film quite highly, only because of the nostalgia of it. Like, as I say, I remember this from being young, and I used to watch it quite a bit. And yeah, I know that it's fucking terrible. I mean, I'm just gonna say it as it is, but yeah, it's got that niche factor to it for me. You know, I mean, yeah, it's awful, but I like it.
I mean, I was thoroughly entertained. I would say it falls into trashterpiece territory. I'd say so bad it's good. I don't think it's a good film, but I was entertained for all the wrong reasons. Chris, what's your thought?
There are dull moments, and it's a stupid film. It doesn't quite make sense or add up. But I think 2001, before the internet really took off, you needed to get your guys in underwear.
Yeah.
Fix from somewhere, and if you can find it hidden in a horror film, so no one questions when you rent it, no one questions you, then I think it's good, and I think it's good for gay culture to have had these films. It's part of gay history.
Yeah.
The films that aren't overtly gay, but you can still see some six packs and tighty whities without your mum asking questions.
Thank God for David DeCoteau when we were younger.
And if anyone listening wants to check this out, I'm sure you can find it in CX for £1 somewhere.
It's on Prime.
It's on Prime.
Yeah, it's on Prime at the minute. Yeah.
So, are you a fan of I've Been Watching You? You're a David DeCoteau fan? Let us know on social media. We are Horror Cult Trash over on Facebook and Instagram, Horror Cult Trash on Twitter. I'm DeLeGaz92 on Letterboxd, Gazmo205 on Instagram, and GazChris92 on Twitter.
I'm Chris Barker823 on Instagram and Letterboxd.
And give us a rate, review, and subscribe on iTunes, like and follow on everything else. Give us a rating on Spotify. It's Pride Month. Be kind to the gays. Give us a decent rating. Lee, where can we find you, and what do you have coming up with Slashic Horror?
You can find me at Slashic Horror on both Instagram and Twitter, and you can also just follow me at Leeroy with 2 E's, Leeroy Cross James on Instagram. And I have an episode of The Funhouse coming up shortly with an author I really like, so I'm really excited about that. And I'm gonna plan I'm gonna plan a camp summer and do a couple of camp summer horror films throughout the summer. I think that's the next thing for Slashic Horror at the minute.
That is a great shout. When we did that, I don't think we came across many bad films, actually.
No.
Apart from Sleepaway Camp 4 and 5, but aside from those, it's a really great theme, and the Funhouse is great.
Looking forward to listening to those.
Yes, thank you very much for joining us.
Oh, it's no
bringing this
problem.
film into our lives.
Thank you.
You're very welcome.
So we will absolutely be covering more David DeCoteau across Pride Month, because this actually wasn't on our list of films to cover, and you came up with the idea. So yes, it was a lot of fun to watch. So thank you very much for that. Next week we'll be back with Curtis's Corner, who is an Instagrammer, an Instagram collector. A first for our Pride Month guests. We're just looking to go for as wide a range as possible with our guests, aren't we?
Yes.
And we'll be discussing his favourite film, Basic Instinct.
Nice.
Which
Good choice.
I cannot wait to analyse that.
More bisexual energy.
Yes, absolutely. That is
Looking
clearly
forward
the
to
theme
it.
this year.
Yeah.
But yes, thanks again for joining us, Lee.
Thank you.
No problem. Thanks for having me, guys.
No problem at all. It was an honour. We will be back next week, same time, same place.
Bye.